Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy here, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be looking at Cloud9 versus Sentinels. This is 2026 America's Stage 2 Week 1, where Sentinels are actually playing with a sub because Johnqt is out with appendicitis surgery, and so they've brought in good old Marved to fill in. And so we're just going to go through each round here, see what each team did well, see what each team didn't do well, and it was a close game, but ultimately, Sentinels were able to come out top with, I think, some really good play here on map 3 of Lotus, and some kind of questionable decisions from Cloud9 that I think cost them this game, but let's just hop right into it. Pistol round, and looks like Sentinels are going to start off here with a walk up towards A, right? So you see they pop the Viper wall up, and nobody crosses, right? So that means that Zelza's here. He pops the door to check to see if anyone's crossed. No one's crossed. So he doesn't know if this is like a wall fake or if Sentinels are walking at B. They do have fire ballops jiggling C here. So he probably has the info that Sentinels are not towards C. And so Cloud9 here with 3 players towards B. And so, yeah, that's why Cloud9 is kind of just stagnant right here. Yeah, here as they begin the exit, they go 2 through main and 3 through tree. There's a couple things that I really do not like about what C9 are doing. Like, I like that Sentinels, they're clearing out the entire site. So the entire site's now theirs. They get a good plant off. This plant is good for, you can watch it from tree, you can watch it from drop, you can watch it from backside by PK. And it feels like Cloud9 kind of just rushed this retake a bit. Like, they're already dogging through, trying to take tree with 3 players while their Viper is still clearing all the flank, right? So like basically what happens is Cloud9 is kind of like retaking with a 4v5. Like, I'm not sure what's stopping them from just waiting for their Viper, because they've also just left their Vise on an island, right? Zelzas can't really make a move because he's solo, so if he dies, they see it all this map control. So Zelza's got to kind of go slowly to stay alive. These guys are through tree. Like, they're already retaking while their Viper is still back in rubble and is kind of late to join the team. So luckily for Cloud9, Oxy is able to nade Marv, but I don't think that really makes a difference, because what Cloud9 ends up doing is they end up just smoking the spike instead of retaking backside first. They try to just smoke the spike, and I mean, if you look at where like Sentinels, like GeForece, he remembers where he's planted. Like, he remembers that he planted it tucked against the wall. So this is probably one of the easiest spams. He gets to the easy spam there, and you can see here again, just like, I'm not sure what Cloud9 are thinking. They've also got 2 players standing in the smoke, but like, you know, they're not going to push through the smoke, right? Sentinels are not going to push the smoke because GeForece, he knows exactly where he planted. He's just going to spam that area down. Probably one of the easiest spams you can find, especially with a ghost. And yeah, just Sentinels are able to just clean up the kills. Like, there's just no way for Jack to win this. He's forced off with the Raise nade, and that is the pistol round for Sentinels. Alright, so let's hop over to the very next round, round 2, and once again, Sentinels get a post plant on the A site, but I think Cloud9 does much better this time, and I think this was definitely a poor round from Sentinels, especially after they won the pistol round. So this time, Cloud9, instead of like, you know, trying to like take everything and leaving a bunch of gaps, they all clump together, and obviously they're all in classics, so that's what they should be doing. And they just do a really good job of just like finding the Sentinels player and just like steamrolling them. Cloud9 group towards CT, and I'm not sure what Redux is doing here. He's got his smoke out while he's by himself. And you know, like, he kind of just, you should hear that they're all there. He kind of just peeks into them. Jack takes him down, and then from here on out, it's just all individual from Sen. Like, I'm not sure what they're doing here. Johnqt's kind of just on an island. Like, I'm not sure why he didn't just double up with so is it Redux and like look for a fight? Like, either you double and fight this or you double and fight here, right? Like, you know, they have the weaponry advantage, right? I'm not sure why they're giving all these ones. So you see Johnqt's kind of just stuck on an island, nobody there to help, and then again after that it's just all individual. There's not really any Cortezia tries to peek himself, falls, and so yeah, Cloud9 takes Sen's anti-eco round, but then again on the very next round it goes wrong for Cloud9 again. So it's a 2v3 for Sentinels. They are able to walk out onto a free C site, and then from here on out, Cloud9 just ends up taking way too long for no reason, really. Like now Zelzas opens the door, and they're still going pretty slowly, and they end up just like running out of time.
Got to start getting rapidly, yeah, the beeps getting more and more urgent, and really is just playing his timing, takes the timing, it's picture perfect!
Alright, now let's jump ahead to round 6 here, and I think this round was a really big mistake from Sentinels. As you can see, Cloud9 are kind of on a low buy here, right? They have, like, 2 rifles and a bunch of pistols. And I think in this situation, what you want to do, if you're the team with a buy, is there's no real reason for you to rush A like this, right? Like, the other team on Lotus is going to be dumping a bunch of USL. So if you go on the first timing, like, you can see Oxy just takes down Jerwin here. With the, you got the Spit, the Seize, and the Raisinade, and, like, there's just no chance for Jerwin to survive. And then, Sen just keep trying to force a fight against, a team that's on a low buy, and, they end up stacking A, right? And that's why you don't want to go into a situation like this. You don't want to take that first timing on A, on Lotus, on attack, when the other team's going to dump you till they're going to try and attack, because that's exactly what Cloud9 wants. They want a quick fight with these 2 rifles to try and win the round, right? I think Sentinels could have done anything else in this round, probably a slow default, and it would have turned out much better for them. And yeah, they kind of just get, like, Cloud9 hit some good shots, but, they kind of all just get melted in this area. And yeah, there's not really much Corsair can do from this point. All right, so on to round number 13. So teams have switched sides, and now Cloud9 is on the attack. They're up 7-5, and, like, they're in a really strong position to win out this game here, right? They're on the attack side, Lotus, already on 7 rounds from defense side. It's looking good for them, but, I'm not really sure what's happening here with this exec. They decide to send the majority of players through main, right? Instead of opening up this tree door. So because of the fact they don't open up this tree door, or dog into this tree, like, they first send people main, and so, like, they run into this thing where Corsair here, like, he's got no reason to look at tree. Like, he's locked onto this angle. The wall isolates Oxy, and, Oxy and the Thorns just gets dropped. And so C9 kind of panic a bit, I think, here, and pivot instantly towards B. But the issue is here, they've now taken B, but they're down numbers, and they don't really have any sort of space. So you can see here, Sentinels are going to be able to retake from Breakable, they're going to be able to retake from Upper, and they have control of Waterfall here. So, like, this just makes it really tough for Cloud9. They've even planted in the pit, I believe. So they kind of just have to play on site, and the Sentinels are able to just kind of flood in here in a sec, as you can see. Like, C9, they do double up, like, they're trying to take some space because they know they have to take that space, but then, boom, 1 paranoia, and the players from Upper flood in, drop the 2 players on site, and then Vic tries his best, but he's unable to win out this clutch. Alright, on to round number 15, Sen's bonus round. So this is a round C9 have to win, and this round they kind of do, like, a bunch of pressure, like they pressure A, they come back towards C, but the issue here is, like, they kind of don't really do enough. And so you can see, like, they're trying to push German off the line, but the issue here is they don't actually push German off the line. And you can see that German's still able to jiggle peek, and because of that info, like, he still has full C-man control. That allows Sentinels to stack 3 players towards the A site, and they do have the Vi setup as well. So C9, like, I kind of get what they're trying to do. They're trying to pressure A and then, like, go back C, but the issue was they never actually pushed Jerwin off the C line. So Jerwin still has this full C line. Jonapi's ready for if they go B through Breakable or B through B main, and that allows Sentinels to stack 3 players on the A site with the Vi setup. And Cloud9, they do think a little better here with their exit. They do send players through tree, but, as they come out for the exec here, I'm not sure what happens. Celsius with the bomb is, like, running here and not helping his team with the exec. Like, obviously the wall's triggered, but, like, you kind of gotta go. Like, yeah, your Vipers may be stuck behind the wall, but Cloud9 end up going for this exec, and it just doesn't go very well for them. And then, yeah, just a good double swing here into Vic to secure the bonus round. All right, now on to round number 22, and Cloud9 are actually on match point here, 12-9, and they're unable to secure this round. And once again, it's the same mistake of, they're just leaving Jerwin on this C line. Like, they're not doing enough to push him off the C line before they come back A. And because of this, once again, right, Sentinels, like, they only have 2 players on site, but, like, they expect them to be coming, right? They expect them to be hitting B or A, right? They have these 2 guys on B. Jonah P can pivot pretty quickly. And it's just because Jerwin has this C line. And I think that's one of the things that you really want to focus on defense Lotus is having a deep line like this, right? You have this, you probably have the Viper up here to cause delay, right? And then having this deep C line just allows players to be ready for this A hold, right? And like, although there's only 2, like, yes, it's 5 hitting the 2, but you know, there's still a lot of ground here for C9 to make through. And obviously, Redux does make a really nice play here, but that's just because like they have an extra guy on site. Like, it's not just Cortesia solo on the A site with everyone else spread out. Like, Sentinels have an idea because German has this deep line. Cloud9 has not done enough to push German off this line that, you know, it kind of just turns into a nice blind from Redux, an insane TP play, and he takes down 2. All right, so now on to the very next round, round number 23, and Cloud9 again with a chance to close out the match. They're up 12-10, map 3. Sentinels have the Viper ult towards C, 2 players towards B, and 2 players towards A. And what Cloud9 are going to do this round is they're going to look to make some pressure towards B, to pull rotate, and then work back towards A. But I think the execution of this was just extremely poor. Obviously, German is able to get a pick onto Oxy, and they look to go towards C. But, you know, they see this Viper's Pit. They're trying to make a bunch of noise. I think the end goal was to head back towards A, but, you know, just not being diligent here. And you see Johnqt has pushed him into this rebel spot. You know, like, you have the Viper utility, right? You have the Viper, you have this orb to cross. And, like, maybe just the pressure getting to them, they completely lapse and forget that someone could be pushed up, right? And, you know, it's just being mindful of the step, right? Like, they work towards B. Obviously, Oxy tries to showstopper out, gets shut down, and they pivot towards C. They see this Viper ult, right? So usually when you see a Viper ult like this, there's probably max the Viper and maybe someone else, right? And the reason you Viper ult is because you don't want the enemy team to go C. And so that means you're probably pushed up somewhere on the other side of the map, right? That just makes sense. You're not going to play passive on both sides, right? Usually what you do with a Viper ult is that you're able to play passive on one side, stack the other side. So C9 kind of just forget here, like they do kind of have some idea, but they don't really clear it out diligently. And I'm not sure, like, you know, Fireball Ups is live, and we're not using the Viper util to cross. Clear this first, or we're not walling up to, you know, try and pinch this guy. They kind of just are like, you know, waiting around doing nothing. And then Johnqt's able to just pick them off one by one. It's a nice blind there as well, I believe, right? From Redux. Yeah, this is a really good blind. Catches Vic, and just like that, it's a 5v2. And yeah, nothing Zelzus can do either, and Johnqt is able to get the final kill. Alright, on to the next round, round 24. Cloud9 again with a chance to close up this match, but again, just like a lot of errors. And then obviously a good setup from Sentinels, but just a lot of errors here on the Cloud9 side. They got 4 club towards C-Mount, and then I think Fire Ballops here is just going way too early, right? Like, your team's actually leaving. They Visol, or yeah, a Visol gets popped by Cortesia, right? So Sentinels know that these guys are going to run away, right? So there's no reason for Fire Ballops to like try to continue with this lurk here, right? Like, you know your team's running away from C, so there's no pressure on C. Therefore, there's no reason German's going to leave this lane, right? Like, you know, you Visol C to push the other team away from C to go A, hopefully, right? So German's just going to stay here, and he's going to be watching this A line. And Fireball Ups kind of just gives away his life here for no reason. As you can see here, Cloud9, they actually double back towards C. It's now a 4v4. They're going to try and exec C with a Visol of their own. It does push Cortesia back. But as you can see here, once they get into the post plant, they're just not very proactive in the post plant. Like, I'm going to guess they're probably just kind of like nervous. It's the last round of regulation. And it's a 4v4. You know, like in these kind of situations on Lotus, equal numbers, you have to take space on the defense, right? Like, you're not going to win this post plant just by kind of turtling on the site. Oxy's trying to fight by himself. You know, no one's really with Oxy. Like, at this point, like, you know, you got to have one, probably 2 of these players, right? Like, you have the Fade plant the bomb. You guys got to pick to either fight CT or fight Waterfall. They kind of don't do anything. Oxy's just kind of like, you know, fight something on his own. Dies to the ult from Jerwin. And now Cloud9 are kind of just stuck on the site. Celsius is going to be able to get this plant down. But, you know, from here, like, I'm sorry, Vic, but, like, one paranoia here is just going to delay. It's not really going to do anything to help you guys win this round, unfortunately. And the issue here with playing on site on Lotus is, like, the enemy knows, like, once they clear this spot, and it's not a good plant, they know. If you're playing off site, then they'll probably win, because it's not planned for them. But if it's planted here, right, and they're going to know that everyone is in this area. Right, and so as the bomb goes down, Sentinels prep for the retake. And as they close in, it's so hard for Cloud9 to have any advantageous fights in this situation, right? Like, Sentinels know. Like, Corteza, he hops on this box because he knows he's going to be able to see guys here, because he knows that Cloud9 is essentially trapped to this spot on the site, and that comes down to just, you know, before you plant the bomb, you have to take initiative to fight either CT or Waterfall on Lotus, right, in a equal numbers post plant. And because they don't do that, it just becomes impossible to win pretty much. All right, now we're into the last round of overtime where Sentinels win this round. And again, Cloud9 have just not learned anything from the past rounds, as Sentinels do a really good job of retaking from both CT and Waterfall, driven with some nice shots. But yeah, once again, like, you know, Sentinels, they know that Cloud9 has not pushed them anywhere, right? So they know they're in close here on the site, so it's just way easier to retake in that situation, right? And, like, you know, Marv, like, I mean, like, what is it? Marv and Johnqt. Johnqt's out of util, but, like, these guys don't need Initiator util to figure out where they are on the site, right? Like, Cloud9 have not taken any space, they've got a bad plant, and they're just forced into these disadvantageous fights. And Marv and Johnqt are able to close it out.
Bullets firing down and raining down the lead and the hail of it. It's all too much. It's all up to Zelsis, it's all up to Jordan. What can you do? Marved on a defuse, it's half already earned, the full stick, full trust, the swing denied, and Sentinels persevere through it all. IGL on the bench, it matters not.
It's a memorable match by the end of it. 16-14 in OT to get Sen the win on Lotus.